Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura. I don't know why I always introduce myself. You should know me by now. And Christian Putalias. Brother, how you doing, man, on this fine Thursday night?
Doing good, man. Watching a lot of soccer lately. Like I think I've watched a game a day in these past like 3-4 days. So I'm doing pretty good actually.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you watched some of the MLS games too. Obviously, two of the what are they called again? Playing, I guess. Playing is a word, right?
Yeah.
Playing.
Wild card.
Well, we're playing because they don't consider them technically playoffs,
Playoffs.
obviously.
Yeah.
So, what's up, cesspool? Yeah, make sure we're live again. We're not at our usual time of Tuesday night, so we may catch some people off guard. But know that we are live on YouTube, on Twitter, and then eventually, if you don't catch it live, you'll hear it the next day on our podcast feed. And you can always go back into the YouTube, watch it there, subscribe, all that stuff. See, I beat you to the connect, man. So that way you can say it later again. But man, love the kit you're wearing, love the hat for sure, man. Maybe I don't remember if I really asked you. Did you like that purple jersey?
I did. It was one of those things that in the beginning I didn't know how I felt, but then I think the more I wore it and the more that I saw it, I ended up loving it. I still don't know how I do know how the purple fits, but overall, you're still kind of scratching your head. You're like, how does the purple fit, right? Obviously, there's a whole thing to it. But yeah, no, it's a good twist. Also, like the purple with the orange, it doesn't seem like it would be two good colors,
right?
But they actually worked out pretty well.
Give me Halloween vibes. Obviously the black and the orange already gave you Halloween vibes.
Yeah.
But I think now the purple and the orange gives definitely big time
100%
Halloween vibes. Man, I like it. Obviously being a fan, the only thing that I try to collect is the jersey, what is it? Not the original, the authentic. Like I'm that type of nerd, so I try to keep like the authentic. I can't find it anywhere. I literally cannot find it anywhere.
Hey.
I don't even think last time I went into the store this past match, they couldn't find it. They just had the replica of the one you have. Mm-hmm. And again, it's just my thing. Like I have to get that one, thinking that I'll do something with it eventually. I mean, I wear them when obviously when I can. But yeah, I cannot find one. So if somebody has one that is willing to sell, don't price gouge me, please. Don't take advantage of me. But I mean, those things are already pretty expensive to begin with. They're like $140 or something. But yeah, if you have one in extra large, holla at me. Talk to me
up.
So we can add it to the collection. But yeah, no, I like it. I like the color. Now we've always kind of talked about the whole hip hop scene, and I don't want to talk into that, but the color itself, that jersey, I agree with you. It's nice. Hopefully they bring the Tequila Sunrise jersey that they had at one point. Bring something like that back would be cool. For the upcoming, because now we have another obviously home jersey next year, which is orange. Yep. Shocker. People out there like, oh my God, it's orange. Like, it's always been orange. They have not changed it yet. But anyways, man, but I hope you've had I guess a happy week so far. I feel like it's been a minute since we last talked. Especially right? Because I think I recorded by myself again after I came back from Colorado, man. So I just went ahead and knocked it out. Which sad, no pin, Christian, no pin. Bro. I was so close. I was probably like 50 feet away from the stadium. It was kind of like barricaded, and everything was definitely close. And I was like, and so this is my question to you and to the listeners: should I still count it? Like, should I still find a pin being that I was there? I
That's
was
true.
there.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess it counts if because when you went to Columbus, there was also no game, but you actually went into the stadium.
right, yeah, like, I went to the store and the guys, there were nice enough to, like, kinda let me in and basically walk around, not, pretty limited.
Yeah,
I was in the stadium, so I
yeah,
counted that one, and I counted the Minnesota one too because that one was like, "Man, I don't know when I'm gonna make it," and I went to the store, they just they're Minnesota people may be a little cold, I guess, maybe because they live in cold climate. Uh,
right.
they didn't really talk much, and
They're Vikings.
they had the same opportunity to open that door and let me kinda take a nice picture, but they didn't. But I still counted it, so, it it is what it is for sure, brother. Um, well, I mean, some teams had a better than others in Houston for sure, dude. And starting with, Dynamo 2, man, you posted the last
Yeah.
Tuesday of the season. Do you wanna touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so well, as we know, the season is over. Dynamo Los went to the Town FC over there in California, and unfortunately, we're not able to get it done. They lost 2-1 to a pretty decent the Town FC. I mean, they had the best record when it comes to letting goals in. Basically, yeah, that's that was big. Uh so yeah, they led the league in least goals against, I guess. So you can say that they're a really good defensive team. They're a team that know how to keep a good line in the back and kind of see games out in a way. So it was expected. It's a playoff match, and they went hard the 90 minutes. It was a tight game. There was a lot of yellow cards. There was a lot of fouls. I think it was like over 40 fouls counted. I think it was 7 yellows, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, like going on both sides. And yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that at the end of the day, sometimes the experience that they had in older players and stuff like that could make a difference. And it was two pretty good goals from their part that just gave the Town FC the push through to go into the next round. So regroup, I guess, for the Dynamo Los. The good thing about them is that they do have one of the youngest teams in the league. So that means that there's a lot of future there. There's a lot of academy work that is being done, that is being looked at from not only the first team here in Houston, but from around the league. They see a lot of potential in these young guys. I mean, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids are competing in some teams against guys in their early 20s, 21, 22. And it doesn't seem like much, but a 5 year difference between a 16-year-old and a 21, 22-year-old, whatever the math is, it does show the experience that you could have in 5 more years of being a full fledged player with more games under your belt. But they did a pretty good job, in quote unquote interim coach and Jeremy Hurdle that's kind of stepped in towards the end with Kenny Bundy going to the first team. So there's that hurdle uh, of having a
Telling me they could the hurdle. Come on.
they couldn't jump the hurdle. But no,
Wait,
I think he
are we
did a good
working
job.
punts today? I said, Minnesota
Mm.
was too cold. You're saying they
Yeah.
can't jump the hurdle. That
Hey,
joke's
but
all
it was
around.
good. It was
Yeah.
good. A lot of promise, man, and honestly, it was a good mix of international guys with homegrown guys and guys that came here for the first year. A lot of, or not a lot, but a couple of guys from the draft, a couple of the guys that got opportunities like Awodesu, and took it and ran with it. Now he's a starting center back there. Both goalkeepers had minutes, so it was a good mixture for both of them, with Xavier, looking forward into potentially getting into the first team and having a backup role, a little bit more consistent. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there, in the future. But it's bright. It's bright for sure.
Yeah, I think the surprise, for that game, that playoff game, was Isaiah Reed being hurt. That you saw the players kinda have the jersey as a moment to show appreciation or whatever to Isaiah, and he posted not like a couple hours ago that he had an Achilles rupture, so he had to
Yeah,
get surgery. So that sucks. Achilles are no jokes. It takes I think the the what's it called, ACL. They're used to like you basically end careers. They don't anymore. They come
yeah,
usually faster. Achilles are not career enders, but they do take much longer, it seems, in
mhm,
comparison to knee injuries, man. But other things too. Obviously, you've seen a couple players post kind of like their goodbyes to Houston. Looks like Josue, is it Sosa, the last name?
yeah,
Posted basically, "Thank you, Houston." I'm sure we're gonna start seeing that from a few of those players. I
yeah,
didn't go through and see exactly who else has posted, but no surprise there. I mean, those young guys, some of them, like you mentioned, they were brought in as short loans. Some of them were brought in as year loans, and then a lot of those guys that they brought from college or even academies, they may be heading out to college, or the older guys like maybe Silla, maybe looking for a team elsewhere to get a first team opportunity, man. But
yeah,
yeah, overall, such an up and down year. I think I mentioned it. I can't remember if I mentioned it on the last recording or not, but I did mention it to you guys on our group chat, saying how you know the teams passing on picking the Dynamo. Two teams did. It was just the fact that the Dynamo were so inconsistent and so volatile was the word that I used, just because
yeah.
you didn't know. It
It's
was
true.
hit or miss. And I mean, they played well, right? I mean, they lost 2-1, but they gave it their all. So it just wasn't meant to be. And man, they're just allergic to winning in the playoffs? I mean, this is 3 years, and both or I'm sorry, and all three they made the playoffs every single year, but they have
Yeah,
not been able to win a game, man. It's crazy.
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, right? The playoffs is the whole different ball game. I can't remember the first year. I want to say they did win a game, but I'm not sure. But yeah, for sure, last year they didn't win anything, and this year same thing. This year, I mean, scratching and clawing in, right? So that was difficult itself, as you said. Ups and downs. That not trying to couldn't find the consistency to kind of be a top dog or a team. Like Texas or one of those like the Tacoma that are
Right.
usually pretty stable and steady on the west coast on the west side. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Obviously, between last year and this year, there was a lot of turnover. Between the older guys kind of leaving, finding teams in the USL and everywhere else, and then a bunch of new young guys coming in and having to step up. Like we saw Gonzalez, becoming the captain, and then like we said, a few internationals that this is their first time playing here or at this level or maybe or whatever may be the case. But if you can build a nice base off of that, into what next year it could be a good season. I mean, you saw Austin. Austin won the championship last year. This year, they're pretty much trash. There were some teams that are really good one year, really bad the other. It's such a weird league, right? Because
Yeah.
you're not only playing to win, but you're also playing to develop players. So it's kind of like a double edged sword. Sometimes you have first team guys coming down and getting some minutes. It's a weird league for sure, but I think it's serving its purpose because we're seeing more and more young guys moving up to the first team all across the league. So at least it's doing what it's supposed to be doing as a
Yeah, and
league.
you made me think what's it called, if they have won a play. No, they never won. They year one, they played against Tacoma Defiance and they
Okay,
got booted out. And then back to back last year, played again, Tacoma Defiance, booted out, and then this
los
time,
tienen de hijo. Yeah,
heck, man, I guess the West Coast is not that great for the
yeah,
Dynamo too, man. And but hopefully this year would have been the third year. Clearly, that la tercera no fue la vencida. So
yeah.
maybe year number 4, the guys
Who
can
knows?
finally get that first playoff win. But man, sad to see them, end their season. Obviously, sad that a lot of those guys didn't get the opportunity into the first team just because even though the first team was in a bunch of different tournaments, they just, you know, got knocked out rather quickly, like in the US Open Cup, where we could have possibly seen a couple of these guys in there. Cespo was talking about Valverde. I mean, Valverde, it looks like he came from a first division team, and I think the idea was to get him settled into Dynamo 2 and make that step into the first team. It just didn't seem like it happened, and I
Yeah.
don't think he will be here long at this point since they were able to bring Junior Moreno. But that's just kind of my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Um, Chris, I guess let's go ahead and tell the people how they can connect with us a little more in
Yeah.
detail, brother.
Yeah. As always, the website is BayouCitySoccer.net. That's where you're going to find everything and anything that is related to Houston soccer and more. Honestly, we've been doing a lot of stuff there. Going to the friendlies and anything that is basically happening soccer wise in the city. It doesn't have to be related to the Houston Dynamo, the Dash, or Dynamo Dos. We're just covering soccer all across the city of Houston. Hopefully, more content, more different content coming up next year as well as we grow our team. And yeah, you can find us on the social media sites, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the YouTube channel if you're on it right now at Bayou City Soccer. That's usually where you're gonna find everything that you're looking to get. And also, if you have the FootMob app, FootMob, however you want to call it, you can also find our articles there. So check us out there on the little news tab under the Dynamo and Dash. You can find the stuff that we write here. So yeah, that's where we can get everything.
Yes, sir. Houston Dash. I'm just gonna touch on them a little bit.
Go for it.
They actually no. I thought of something. You mentioned it right when you were doing the shout out. Just your experience as an Argentinian going to a Clásico Mexicano. How did that go? Just quick 5 minutes on that.
It was actually fun. I honestly didn't think it was gonna be. I don't know if entertained. I was like honestly more entertained about. I watched more the people than I did the game. Sometimes when the game I don't know any of the players or I just the game itself, like the teams, as soccer teams don't interest me as much, especially in a friendly that is two teams that maybe I don't follow, so I have no idea who's playing, who they are. I just knew it was a rivalry, so then of course the people in the stands were gonna treat it as a rivalry. So I was just excited to see what the fans were gonna do. I waited for or I was able to kind of get the beginning of the Chivas fans getting into the stadium. Then I was lucky enough also to see the America fans getting into the stadium and see their whole kind of way making them making the way into their section. Um, so it was pretty interesting. It was cool because you get to see it's like this. It's the same sport, but it feels like it's different cultures in a way, right? Like we all play soccer the same way, but people sing songs, the same songs differently, or they do things differently. Like for example, something that I noticed is that they don't carry scarves around, but they carry like signs or little scarf like, scarf size little, not posters, but like little flags in a way that have like their town or wherever they're from. And I thought it was cool because you can rep your city or your town. Usually when I watch, like for example, I was watching right now the semifinal of Copa Argentina, and like you see, like for example, Huracan was playing, and then people take their flags with their neighborhood on it, but they're like giant flags, right? And obviously in Argentina you have all the alambrado, all the fencing, right, around the stadium. So obviously the people won't go in because they're savages, and that's where people hang it, And sometimes you can't even see the damn game because there's so many flags just planted everywhere. But it's cool to see that people are still representing their cities. Like I think I counted, people from like California, people from Chicago, people from Atlanta. Like they came from everywhere, and it was just cool to see how a team can get you out and make you take a plane, and even if it's a friendly, right? And just the choreography or the of how long it takes for a group like that to be so well put together in a way, like putting out the banners and the tifos, and even though the Chivas fans messed up and one of their tifos, it was all wrapped up, and it was funny, it was comical, but then also they kind of like made it up because as soon as that tifo came down, the smoke bombs came up, and I was like, damn, like that's a good way.
Yeah, I
Obviously, if it
was.
would have been perfect,
Yeah,
oof,
the I saw the videos obviously that you were posting on
yeah,
our social medias, and then the great pictures that Ricky took too, like
yes,
of the smoke
yes,
bombs and stuff like. It was pretty cool. Like I'm not gonna
it
lie.
was
Like
it
I
was
think you're
nice.
right. The game itself, obviously being a Chivas fan, seeing America win 2-0, it yeah, it's a friendly, and you hate those clubs, and I'm like, oh man, I can't believe they won or
Yeah,
whatever.
it still
But
hurts.
as of
Yeah,
late, they've just had their number. They've just been
yeah.
better, and for many other reasons that we're not going to talk about in this podcast. But like you mentioned, the atmosphere looked
Yeah,
incredible.
top
It
notch.
looked like it was fun. I'm sad that I missed out. As soon as I saw that happening, I told you guys watch. It's going to happen the weekend that I'm out, and that's exactly when it happened. It just timed it perfectly, right?
Yeah.
But no, man. Yeah, just on that, just wanted to like hear your thoughts on that game. But let's move into the Houston Dash real fast, Chris. Obviously, they have one game left after losing against Seattle Rain over the weekend, 2-1 loss. Both teams played very well. Olivieri keeps playing pretty good, but it seems like both of them are basically out of the playoffs already. So Houston Dash is still the worst team in the league.
Shout out.
That's just, and I'm not hating. That's literally what the
It's
table
just the
tells
facts.
me. They have 20 points. Um, and the first team has 57. So there's a big gap there. And yeah, it looks like at this rate, if they lose this weekend, chances are they're going to end up being dead last, which does not necessarily mean a lot with the draft basically gone and a couple other offseason things happening. But
Yeah.
they are not playing right now because why would they, right? They have a FIFA break, so there's a lot of the players are out in international duty with their nations. I had the list in front of me.
You mute. You mute.
I hit the space
There you
bar
go.
when I was talking. Um, no, I was saying that I had the list of who was gonna be out, and it's Jake Campball, she's with the U.S. Zoe Matthews, man, that 17-year-old. I wish we had Dustin to talk more about her. Hopefully, we can get with Houston Dash Communication department. Maybe get with Edgar, see if we can talk to Zoe um, before the season ends. Dude, she does not look 17. I mean, she's a beast. She's like 6'2". It looks like she's just taller,
It's
bigger, and
huge.
faster than everybody else on the field. Obviously the first, really young player to be with the Dash. Look, I think she has Jamaican descent. I believe she had played with the youth Jamaican national teams, and she gets called up to the U19s for the women's side. So good for her. She has gotten some minutes. I believe her debut went down this weekend, and she looked good, man. She's definitely not afraid to shoot. Towards the end of the match, I started laughing because she took like I don't know, like a 20-yard shot. Definitely was outside of the 18, and she just hit who I believe used to be Alfonso Davis' girlfriend right in the head, and the poor girl just went down. And she was down for a couple minutes before they were able to like get her back on her feet. So I was like, oof, that's the cannon of a leg on Zoe,
Ouch.
man. So seeing a player like her definitely, kind of brings your hopes up for the next season for sure. Remote, no, Bagman. It's also out in international duty with Switzerland, Olivieri with Venezuela, Sarah Puddingham with Austria, and Tarciane with Brazil. So those are the six dash players that are out currently. They'll be back next weekend, November 2nd, which I have the thing for it. Yep, there it is.
There you go.
They'll be doing their season finale at home against newbies to the league, Bay FC. I was really hoping to go to this game and take my whole family. Super excited till I saw it at 8:00 p.m. There's no way. Then my kids are gonna be in a great mood at 8:00. There's just no way.
That's just
And
bedtime, right?
but yeah, exactly. But I'm gonna see if I can make it myself. If it wasn't for the Dynamo playing the next day, it makes it a little hard for me to justify making out to two games back to back. Do not believe in divorce, so my wife would definitely not divorce me. I would just be a new 2020 special or Dateline special in a couple years from now if that would
That's
do.
funny.
But we'll see exactly how that goes down. But I really want to make it like whenever I saw it on the schedule, um, I wanted to want to see Bay FC. I don't know. They just have a couple fun players. Obviously, a couple Dash players as well, or former Dash players. But I don't know. It was a game that I was excited to see again. Till I saw it was an 8:00 game.
Kind of rough.
Yeah. It's you really
Yeah.
you got to think about those for sure, man.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hopefully, it's been a while, man. Manny has not been working hard enough to make it into this podcast and tell us
Damn
a
it,
bit
Manny.
about the dash. And I'm gonna pick on Manny today, but technically, where's Joey? Where's Dustin? They
Where y'all at?
they're busy with life. But anyways, man, anything you want to touch about the dash? You don't have to, or anything you got that I may have not mentioned on anything we've talked about in the
No.
last 28 minutes near.
I feel like I had something. Oh yeah. So I remembered. I went to go. Me and Ricky last time. I think it was like 2 Fridays ago. There was like a FIFA World Cup and that and like Dynamo type talking to the media and stuff like that.
Chris
So we
Kennedy, Ted Siegel, and Tim Howard, right?
and Tim Howard, yeah. So we get to ask him a couple questions about the future of the dash. So if you guys want to go see that, it is on the YouTube channel. But just in case you didn't hear it, basically the process that they're going to do, they want to do, is basically imitate what they did with the Dynamo. So starting with finding a GM, a proper GM. It seems like we have heard a certain name, right, that has been helping them out. I can't remember the guy's name. I know it starts with a U. Um,
Yes,
you guys,
Ustrek is the last name. I can't think of his first name, but yeah, Ustrek.
yeah,
Ustrek.
that guy.
Yeah.
So it seems like, well, I don't know if that guy is going to be, the one that is going to get picked. He's the one that has been helping, in interim GM in a way, right? If we could give him a title or something. But what Ted Siegel said was that, they're going to pick a GM. And then with the GM, they're going to decide, who they have as a coach. So at this point, they didn't clarify if Ricky Clark was going to take over. I think we just saw earlier today a tweet from I can't remember which team in the NWSL. They basically bumped up their interim coach into their full-time head coach. I can't remember who it was. I want to say is the Royals or something. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But I know
I wasn't prepared for this, Christian.
No, you're good. I just know that Dustin mentioned it, and they said, we should probably get a coach too. I can't remember if it was Dustin or Manny or whoever, one of the guys that follows the dash a little bit more than I do. But obviously following the process. So like I said, if you want to go check it out, it's on the YouTube channel. Tim Howard answered some question about Zoe, talking about how talented she was and how the team has to take care of her. Because she's a very talented player and obviously young. So they're going to need, the staff, the club, kind of be her family, guide her, through this career. And, what's kind of why they chose to bring her in and everything like that. And then, Ted Siegel basically talked on the more technical side of stuff, about GM, head coach, and then roster building, after that. So it's going to be an interesting process for the Dash. Obviously, it's not going to get done now, but I think this offseason will say a lot about how much, I don't know if care is the word, but how much they're investing in the Dash. They always talked about investing in the Dash as much as they do in the Dynamo. In the Dynamo, there was a lot of investment, a lot of money, time, and a lot of, starting with Pat and Asher. That I think that was probably the biggest investment that they could have done, basically bringing soccer minds into the game and create from there. And then you have Ben Olsen and so on and so on. But I think they're going to do the same thing, and hopefully with the right people in place, the Dash, maybe not next year, but in the next season, will start to look competitive. I mean, look at the Dynamo, right? And in the first year, they went, top 4 in the league. This year, back in the playoffs, back-to-back playoffs. Obviously the NWSL is a little bit different. They do rely more on the college players. Now the college players are going to be able to pick where they want to play, so I'm pretty sure that changes things. But who knows? That's all I know about the Dash. So
Yeah, a
hopefully the
lot.
future's bright.
Yeah, a lot of noise right now. We'll hopefully we find something more concrete, man. Something still waiting on Jessica O'Neill to have some kind of town hall for the Houston Dash fans, to know a little bit more, especially since they just saw Fran Alonso walk and then Alex Signer walk, and not a lot of anything was said. But anyway, let's go into the Houston Dynamo, man. The only team in the postseason, or left in the
Yeah,
postseason. Obviously, knowing that the Dash did not make it, and their season's almost over. And then the Dynamo, man. Um, we don't have to, spend too much time on the Galaxy game. It was definitely a crazy game, just because it seemed the Dynamo were gonna take it. 1-0 win all the way to like the 90 something minute. The penalty gets called in favor of the Galaxy. Gabriel Peck takes it. They're celebrating. MLS social medias are hyping it up how they've won, the
the
conference.
West.
Yeah, and my boy, man, if I'm gonna hype anybody, I never like pick on one specific player, but I feel since the arrival of Dan Steris, I feel like that's the guy that I've always say, man, I enjoy watching him play. He's one of those team players, veteran guy that knows his role. But it's like he knows his role, but dude, they have him playing like out of position, and he just, whether it be a right back, center back, left back, striker, the dude just does what needs to be done. And of course, 90 plus 8, 90 plus 10, whatever it is, scores a beautiful header. Reminded me similar to like a Jared Borghetti type of, header that just out of nowhere beats a
Switching
defender,
direction. Yeah.
switches the direction, beats the goalkeeper, and just creates massive mayhem. David and myself were there covering the game. I was all right. Check this out, bro. You say it's hard to enjoy the game. I was tweeting. I was doing Instagram. I was taking pictures. I was doing everything. So it was hard to keep up with the game, even there being live. So originally, I thought it was Vyachenko that scored, because by the time I looked up, he was the one
On the
celebrating the
floor, yeah.
most. And I actually tweeted that, like, go by Vyachenko, just to realize that I was wrong. Thank God for editing. And I went back and changed it, and I was like, all right, man, we got it right. But no, it was one of those that the atmosphere was right. They called it a sold out crowd. It wasn't. There's definitely, if you can still read Houston on the stadium, then you know that it's not a sold out crowd. Definitely a good amount of people were there. Can say that it wasn't. I just hope that this playoff match, that obviously you lose home field advantage by being in fifth place. Oh, and let's talk about that. So it seemed forever it was going to be Real Salt Lake till the very last second.
Yep.
Bam, you get slotted into Seattle, a team that we know the Dynamo definitely tend to struggle. Regular season, obviously postseason. has not worked out for them either. Um, they never gone to Seattle and won, and obviously even in Houston they tend to struggle, and Seattle ends up getting the best of it. So to me this is a very fun match just because it's a team that it's a must win, and I think if you are the Houston Dynamo and you beat Seattle, to make it into the next round, whoever it is, even though it's going to be a single elimination match, it tells a lot. It tells that you're in a different level. And you can see it as like, well, Seattle's not that great. They're in fourth place. That doesn't matter. Is the fact that they're definitely a Goliath, to the Dynamo. And if the Dynamo are able to win, in the 2 games and 3 games, it means a lot. And I think it's going to be a moral boost for sure. Again, it doesn't mean that they're going to beat Seattle and you're in the MLS, final, MLS Cup final, because obviously you have a couple games in between there. But I think that right there already tells you like this is a different Dynamo, right? This is a Dynamo that is here to compete. This is a Dynamo that can win. The last thing you want is for them to go 5-0, aggregate time
Yeah,
like they did
but on
in
Portland.
2017.
Oh,
So or Portland did obviously in the
and
plane, yeah. But
Orlando.
so you want I mean, the Dynamo are gonna keep it close. Obviously you hope that specifically playing in Seattle,
Yeah,
in that ugly, plastic field that is just difficult to play in. Um, but man, I mean, it'd be incredible, dude, if they're able to do that, wouldn't it be?
100%. Because, like you said, not only it would mean that you potentially are closer to. I guess if we're talking just about the first game, right? But it wouldn't mean that you're closer to your goal, which is you have to beat them twice. But just that, you're beating Seattle twice, like that. I think that's probably the biggest storyline is Houston beats Seattle, then Houston beats Seattle to go to the next round of the playoff match. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be like you said. It's difficult. It's hard. Seattle over there is harder. Seattle at home is still hard. It's just a really good matchup. But I think it's one of those things that the typical if we can beat them, we can beat anybody type thing, just because of how much of a thorn in our side, or whatever the saying is. They have been to the Houston Dynamo as a whole. Not even just this team in particular, but just as a whole, as an organization. When you think about, like, I don't know, Houston, Kansas City type thing, like those type of matches, rivalries, that doesn't matter how good they look or how bad they look, it's still like tough.
Yeah, especially when you see it as like, recently, the Dynamo had beat the Galaxy, right? The Galaxy was a
Yeah,
team sort of like
and
that.
LAFC.
LAFC, that's what I was gonna go with. The last 2 years, you beat them like 3 times,
Yeah,
in regular season, if not 4 times in the regular season. But obviously, they eliminated them late in the playoffs and the semifinal. But
yeah,
to me, it's like it's a big deal if you're able to get away with wins, against tough opponents like an LAFC, and then beating them at home. I mean, it's crazy that they've done that the Dynamo have done that, because again, we know the history, right? They've struggled for away like many teams do, right? Not every team goes out and win unless you're a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, or
yeah,
this top clubs that are, no matter where they go, they're gonna win. Um, it's interesting, and again, I think this is maybe the matchup that not a lot of people wanted. I'm sure maybe we take a poll, people would have been like, "No, I wanted RSL because we beat them, six
yeah,
times in however many games or whatever. In 2 years, you play them 30 times and you've got the best of it." But to me, is like, no, you need to change it a little bit. Because what if it was RSL, right? And what if it was finally RSL's time to beat you too? The ties always turn, man. And so at this point, you get a complete different opponent that you know well because you play them a lot. And you know that they, again, are a very good team. So to me, it's just like an even bigger moral boost if you're able to beat them. And
yeah.
again, it's a best out of 3 series. It starts on Monday night, October 28th. 8 p.m. Central. I'm excited because it's a Monday night game, and I'm super excited to watch that. 8 o'clock is not that late in comparison to some of the 9 p.m. games we tend to get. By the
For
time the
real.
game's over, I'm literally turn the TV off and fall asleep. Like yeah, I'm
There's
sorry.
enough time.
I can't hang, but I'm there. So I'm actually excited to watch this, dude. And you know what? This completely out of topic in a sense, but I was thinking about it. Growing up, whenever I would watch a big game or a Chivas game or whatever game, I couldn't tell you the last time that I sat down and had like a bunch of snacks and drinks and like watched the game. I think like the last time was probably the one that you guys have come to either watch, a World Cup game or the U.S. Open Cup final. Honestly, at this rate, would probably be the last one.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that last time. I'm like, nowadays, as I try to focus on the game, but I'm still kind of losing my marbles a little bit. It's not like a enjoying aspect of it. I don't know. I thought it was. I was thinking about it. I'm like, dang, when's the last time that I just enjoyed the match?
It happens. It happens.
It's been a minute, man. But
It happens.
But yeah, again, big match. We will probably try to record Tuesday night. I know Christian, you tend to be busy on Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
But if we can see when we can get back into it. Luckily, my Wednesday nights, what I had on Wednesday is done. This was the last week, so we may be able to jump on Wednesday as well if it makes it easier for
Yeah.
you and Joey to join. Joey, it's back in his musical era, and
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, and so it makes it a little bit difficult to get him involved lately. But we were actually supposed to have a couple interviews, I guess, not necessarily Orange Sox. We'll try to get a couple Orange Sox as well. This week was a hectic week for me at work. So I hadn't had time to reach out or anything. But if everything goes well, hopefully I believe Dustin's talking to somebody from Seattle tomorrow. I think that's what I saw. So he'll
Yeah,
be
those are gonna be good.
yeah. So he'll be chatting with somebody on I think tomorrow. So we'll put it on I don't know if he'll go live or he'll just record it, but we'll put it on YouTube and we are hoping to get one of the big MLS guys from Apple to hit us up, which
No
I'm
pressure.
I'm excited. I'm excited to for that one, man. Uh,
Yeah.
what's it called? The name is Kellen Carr. We're hoping for him to show up. No, not show
Yeah.
up, but we're trying to make sure that he has some time. We actually, obviously, you were there. We went to St.
Yeah.
Louis. Dude saw our logos, this beautiful hats we were repping and our polos, and he just talked to us for like 5-10 minutes, telling us how he keeps up with Houston Dynamo news because of Bayou City Soccer, and he was kind of excited that we were out in there traveling. He was excited to cover the team. Too bad they lost 3-0.
Yeah.
Um,
Whoops.
but yeah, he was just mentioning the fact that I guess they pretty regional to him being in New York, so he covers a lot of that East Coast games. So he's hoping to cover more of the Dynamo, especially next year, as well as his beloved Californian teams. Kids from California, man. What can you give him? But all the love from Houston for sure. Who doesn't recognize
100%.
Kellen Carr with his
Dynamo
helmet?
legend.
Yeah, man, love it. It's too sad that he lost 2 finals with the club. I believe he was in both of the
Those
losses.
Galaxy ones.
So that's the sad part about it. But man, great dude for sure. That's all we have, Chris. Anything that we miss? Anything that you think we need to touch on? I
Nah,
think
man.
I want to say yes. Oh, I know what. I do have something thank God I opened it and left it on. MLSPA, man. The salaries came out, I believe, about a month ago. I don't know if they made them available, but it just says as of September 13. Let me see. Let me check something out.
Did you see the numbers?
Yes, I do have the numbers.
It's wild.
It is wild. When did they post
It's
them?
wild.
Did they just post them?
I don't know. I just clicked on the
Uh,
link.
yeah, let's talk about the numbers. But I just want to make sure that I'm not. If this is too old, if it's a month old when they came out, MLSPA real fast.
And Messi gets paid, or he got 20 million a year,
Was
right?
it today? Oh yeah, it was. It came out today.
Jeez.
All right, so it came out today. You have Messi as a bit. Okay, let me see. I put a Dynamo. Let me open it again, and then I can put like
No,
the.
yeah, because when I saw it, I saw the whole list,
Yeah. That's what
like
I'm
all
saying.
the
I'm gonna do
players in
the.
alphabetical order.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, the MLS player salary guide came out today or was available today. This salaries are as of September 13, 2024. So obviously they make the numbers available to everybody today. Let's talk Houston Dynamo or Houston Dynamo first. I'm sorry. With shoot, I messed up. Where is it? There it is.
Let's see, I'm gonna
Give me a
try to pull
second.
it up.
Give me a second. I had it and it went away. Why did it go away?
Where did you go?
No, I had the Dynamo like for it to. Oh, I know why. All right. No surprise. Hector Herrera, 5 million total guaranteed compensation.
Sheesh.
5 million and a quarter. So 5.25 million. This is a big number, and as we know, they're trying to see if he comes back. And so imagine, you're Pat Onstad, you're looking at that number. It's a big figure. I mean, the guy has performed very well for sure, but is he worth bringing back for that amount of money? It's hard, right, to mention, just because obviously we've seen how the Dynamo have still performed well without him on the field. So, no matter how much they want them, you start looking at the numbers, and if you are a good business person and if it's not making sense to you, then of course you will. If Achi wants to stay, it would probably be for much less than what he's making now. And will he be okay, taking a pay cut? Who knows? I mean, that's what we're gonna find out. All right, so we'll leave it at that. But yeah, man, the guy's making $5.25 million a year. It's pretty
Un
crazy.
poquito.
Below him is Ezequiel Ponce making 2,822,000. Um, that's a good amount of money, but man, I mean that's half, right, of what Herrera is making, and you have to remember they paid 8 million, a transfer fee for Ezequiel Ponce. That tells
Yeah.
you a lot. Ferreira, or Sebastian Ferreira, who does not love Sebastian Ferreira, making 2,290,000. So it's a good amount, man. It's a good amount of money there.
He
That
gets
he's
paid more than Jesus Ferreira in Dallas.
that's
And
crazy,
Jesus
right?
Ferreira it's pretty useful over there,
I'm gonna give
as
you
far
a
as I know.
I'm gonna give you a crazier stat. You ready?
Go for it.
Are you ready for my crazier stat?
Oh no.
Where is it? I have it right here, buddy. He's made. Oh shit. Anyways, he made like 500,000 per goal this year. So imagine that.
That's the wild. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
bro. Talk about. And then he's been on the bench. You know what? We can calculate. We can calculate this. All right. Then Sviatchenko is the fourth highest paid. Who's here? Back.
paid
Who's in my
70.
house?
I don't
Um,
know.
you have the numbers in front of you.
Yes.
All right,
Who
go
you
down the
said?
list. Let me look at something real fast. You can keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
I
yeah,
stopped
yeah.
where
I don't have
Sviatchenko.
them. I don't have them in by number, but I have them.
Okay.
Shevchenko, he gets paid 824,996. Un
But
poquito, un poquito.
it's not a lot, but he's performed, so we give him that.
Stairs gets paid 498, 425.
I think that's a veteran minimum. I think, but I mean that's
Sheesh.
still that's good money. That's value right there.
That's
Here I do have him in order. Arthur
okay.
is the let me see fifth highest player. He's at total guaranteed compensation of 783. Um,
Earned.
you have Latif Blessing, which obviously we knew he had a hefty contract. Um, he is at 715. Then you have Steve Clark. He's at
84.
684. You have Coco Carrasquilla, the just now mentioned, best player in CONCACAF,
That's
making
wild.
pennies in comparison, right?
Yeah.
To that, what he's given. Coco is making a little under $660 $1,000. I mean, Bossy is at 605. This is all K. Put a K on that
Crazy.
number I'm giving you. Sebastian Kovalchik making 530. Griffin Dorsey, same thing, 530.
Shout out. That boy got
Who obviously,
paid.
yeah, he's like he got a nice race, obviously, in the beginning of the season. Lawrence Anali, rookie. We know that he came in, he looked explosive, he looked like it was what the team really needed. Sadly for him, he gets injured. He's making good money, man. He's making a little bit, what is it, 524?
That's crazy.
It's pretty good. He's making the same as Franco Escobar, basically, as a right back. Ibrahim Aliyu, I know a lot of people are probably going to hear this and get really mad, but he's making $500,000 a year. I mean, let the guy, man, make some bank. It's fine.
Hey, man, get your
Um,
bag, dog.
for real. And if you want to throw a couple this way,
Yeah, for real. Hey,
we ain't gonna.
we need $20 to keep the website going.
Daniel Sayers, as you mentioned, just a little under $500,000 a year. Brad Smith, Brad Smith making near $500,000 a year with the limited time
Liverpool
he's
legend.
seen, with a right back playing for him as Franco Escobar has taken over that position.
That's
Incredible.
crazy.
Andrew Tarbell, obviously backup goalkeeper. This is when we start seeing gets the lower. It's still very good salaries. I'll take any of those salary guys.
100%.
Anybody hiring? Maybe we should ask
I'll
if they're
take
hiring
the
a third
I'll take the
string
lowest
goalkeeper.
one.
Andrew is at 280. Nelson Quinones 252. That was a bargain if he would have played this year.
This is depressing.
It's yeah, and then Ethan Barlow making 250. Then you have
Lord.
Valverde. I know Cespo asked about him. They have him at 200,000. Imagine he's making more than some guys have played a lot, and we'll get there so you can see he's making more than Mikael, a center back. Mikael is making under 150,000, and Mikael is probably, if not top 3 defender of the year.
Tom Boger had him in his best 11.
Yeah. I skipped a couple names. Obviously, John Gregus is under Valverde, also 170. Tate Schmidt, 150. Mikael, as I mentioned, 149. 150 is what I said. McKinsey Gaines, 122. Brooklyn Reigns, 118. Junior Moreno, basically a bargain at 114.
Yeah.
Xavier Valdez making 99.
Shout out.
Exxon Arsu, man, got a pay day, 94 guaranteed.
That's pretty good.
Then you have the rookies. Man, Stephen Anor making some good money at 85,000. Then Kieran Sargent, homegrown, 73. Gabriel Siegel, 71. And then another, I was going to say NFL, MLS draft, Osmane Silla at 71,000. So, you look at those, and again, the one that is it's going to be in question is going to be Herrera. They're going to have to look at his contract. Definitely don't see it. I think what was going to happen, this is what I'm going to say is going to happen, Chris. I think they're going to decline the option, and I think they're going to work to see if he wants to stay. My concern is I hope that he doesn't turn into a Carlos Vela that decides to come back late in the season.
Yeah.
That's, because obviously we know they're good friends.
Yeah.
It could happen, but I could also see him get declined and San Diego comes and, takes some home per se. The guy's from Tijuana. You throw a rock and you hit San Diego basically right there. So that would suck because then you have to play him twice, being a Western Conference team. So that's all I wanted to touch on, man. So if feel free, you know what I'll do because I didn't post it. I'll look for the MLSPA link and I'll post it on here, or sorry, on our Instagram, so people can check it out. But yeah, you mentioned about Messi. I mean, Messi is just in a whole different level,
Yeah,
right? The
it's
dude is making
a different
uh
bracket.
close to 20, yeah, right. Base salary. I mean, 12 million, man. Base salary
Poquito.
is
Yeah,
nothing, right? But his guaranteed compensation, obviously he owns like Apple TV and all this
for real.
great deals. The guy is making close to 20.5 million a year. That's crazy. And
That's
people were like, man, this
insane.
guy is washed. He's like 36, 37 years old. Bro, if I'm Messi, I'm playing till I'm 45. If people are gonna keep paying me this amount of money, dude.
But you know, it's crazy that, well, I don't want to get into the whole Messi stuff, but I mean, he's potentially an MVP.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, for
it's
sure.
36 goal contributions, 20 goals, 16 assists.
Yeah. I
Like
know there's a lot of talk
he's
of him
washed,
just
but
being
goddamn,
Be, no, that's wrong. I don't think he's watched by any means. He's scoring goals
no.
that not everybody can score, but they're
It's Messi.
protecting the hell out of him, right? I
Oh,
mean, you see
100%. You
you
have
see
to.
how they barely like sneeze on him and it's a foul. It's like they
Yeah.
touch him as a red card almost. And
It's
then
yeah.
and then he goes and kicks people, pulls people, nothing gets called. So obviously you can see how FIFA loves Messi. They get invited. Yeah, no, I mean I'm
It's those.
for sure. You know me, dude. I'm a big Messi fan. Like I've always been, being a Barcelona fan, being to see him play for so long and everything that he did and he continues to do. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a fanboy. I don't have like his jerseys and stuff by any means. And because when he went to PSG, I think I watched one game. So now that he's went into Miami, I've only watched games. Leagues Cup, the first one when he scored against Cruz Azul. I mean, that was just an incredible thing because everybody wanted to
Yeah.
see him play.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think I've seen some highlights. I mean, we goof around when we're at games, you and me. I'm like, look at this wash off, man. You just scored 3 goals and 2 assists. I mean, this guy sucks.
This guy
Um,
sucks.
Kind of keeping up with the things Messi does, but Messi's gonna Messi, and love him or hate him, I think the guy's the best player I've ever seen. And I'm sure that, if you could compare him, he's definitely by far the best ever. And so it's kind of nice to see that
Yep.
we are in the generation that got to see Messi, as other generations talk about Maradona or Pele or,
Yeah.
big players like that transcended. I mean, this guy's done it all. And if you guys want to still compare him to Ronaldo, I mean, what's the last? Ronaldo hasn't won anything since like 2019. And the last thing I saw was that someone
That's
put like they did you see the thing that I think it was at a fight? I think it was a UFC fight or some kind of fight, I believe. And you know how it tends to say like Ronaldo, and on the bottom it says like footballer. It said YouTuber. So I mean, this guy doesn't even get the
The
love.
recognition. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's all right there for Hooties. I don't think Hooties listens to us, but Hooties Martinez, if you listen to this, yeah,
Uris y el bicho.
yeah, El Bicho, it's
El
just another
bicho de
guy.
Uris.
But yeah, just to finish off, obviously, if we're looking at the entire what's I'm gonna call it, the entire wait, I don't see one guy. I was gonna say, if you look at the entire list, you have Messi again making a guaranteed compensation of 20.5. Then you have Insigne making 15.5. Sergio Busquets making close to 9 million a year. Sebastian Driussi making a little under 7. Federico Bernardeschi
Crazy.
about 6.3. Emil Forsberg, 6 mil. And Hector Herrera right there. So, Hector Herrera being in the top 10 of salaries speaks a lot, right? I mean, it's a
Yeah.
big investment. So again, that's the reason why we continue to mention how that's going to be a big question. Um doesn't matter how happy Hector Herrera is playing in Houston. It really all matters in the numbers. We know how, it's the game of numbers in all reality when it comes to the roster building. And if you're able to pay less and bring a bigger name, that's what they're gonna do. The one I was looking for, and I don't know if you saw it, was Suarez, man. Suarez, I think it's basically on a free, dude. I
Yeah, it
think
wasn't a lot,
I think Messi is paying for Suarez.
right? Just cutting him a piece of his check.
Oh man, it's not even popping up. Let me
Because I
see.
know Jordi Alba, I think it was
Oh,
1.5 million.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And same thing
Yeah,
for Suarez. Suarez is
yeah,
1.5, man.
yeah. Because they're TAM, aren't they? They're
That's
buddy bucks.
crazy. Yeah, guys, we'll leave it at this, Chris. Ferreira's making double what Luis Suarez made. Just think
As
about that. Just think about that. That's mind blowing, right? And how many goals did Suarez? I mean, Suarez was like top three, I think, in the goal MVP race. Obviously,
and
Benteke
then
ended up winning it.
just take their careers. Period.
Oh, for sure. But I mean,
Like I'll take Suarez at 38 or however old he is over Ferreira
for sure, for
at 20
sure. I
something.
mean, it's crazy. Let's
That
see
is insane.
how many. Now I'm like all over the stats now. Let me see player stats. There it is.
He had a good amount of goals, at
He
least double digits
he
for
was
sure.
he had 20 goals. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's insane.
That's crazy, right? Benteke 23, Boanga 20, Messi 20, Suarez 20. Um, you
Man,
guys want to? It's like
that's
Ferreira had
40.
5.
That's 40 goals with just two players.
Yeah,
How insane that is!
isn't it ridiculous?
I don't know how many goals the Dynamo have, but
It's not
I,
even that. I mean, Messi brought all his friends. We're Hector Herrera's friends. Did he not make friends? I
for
mean,
real, hey bro, call
dude,
you. You ain't got no contacts.
people keep like call Greaseman, call this, call that, man, call anybody that can help you, brother.
At this point, yeah,
At this rate, I know some. I think I've told you in the past. When I've heard interviews with Mexican national players that went and played abroad. Not that there's not many lot nowadays, but I remember how Guardado, who just retired from the national team, he would talk shit about the other players that were playing, the Mexican players that were playing in Europe. There was a big player. You may know him, Omar Bravo. He was like a legend with
yeah,
Chivas. Scoring over 100 and something goals. And all Guardado would talk about was how Bravo was just a crap player. Like he didn't do this, he didn't do that, he didn't try. But like, dude, you don't blast your guy to the media.
your
Like
fellow
so
people.
so again, I don't know if how Hector Herrera is, but I mean, he's been here almost 3 years, guys. We're his friends. Messi brought whoever the hell he wants. And
Yeah,
again, the level that they brought is really high. You would think that Hector would be able to call a couple guys and bring some TAM guys, some GAM guys, for God's sakes, man. But
some damn friends.
Chris, man, tell the people how they can connect with us, and we'll shut it down, dude.
Yes, sir. As always, BayouCitySoccer.net is the website, guys. Go check it out. Check out the YouTube channel. You're probably on it right now. At Bayou City Soccer, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Go check us out over there at Bayou City Soccer or at Bayou City Soccer. And once again, the website BayouCitySoccer.net. And also shout out to Ugly Guppy for hooking us up with the gear. And yeah, man, thank you for listening, guys.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Great episode. It felt like we're not gonna toot
Yeah.
our own horn, but we try, guys. We try. And again, like Christian said, man, you guys like the show. If you're a podcast listener like me, if you go in there, whether it be Apple or Spotify, give us, man, 5 stars, 1 star. Tell us why. Write a review. It really goes a really long way. And if you guys can get us to 1,000, come on, guys, we need it. Last episode I said be kind, and I didn't go into why, but get obviously, if you guys enjoy the content that we make here in Bayou City Soccer, people that are big, um obviously soccer fans in the city, man, let them know. Help us get to 1,000 followers on Instagram by the end of the year. Again, we really, really appreciate it. Always keep an eye out too for giveaways. I don't know if we'll have any more giveaways on tickets just because there's only one home game at least left, and I don't know if we'll give those away. But we always try to have giveaways. We always have some cool giveaways, and I'm sure we'll try to figure out something for closer to the holidays as well, like we did last year. But man, truly appreciate the support. Everybody listens, everybody that listened tonight. Again, definitely not on the same schedule as we tend to be,
We'll
but
get to it though.
we'll get back into it just as it happens. But man, thanks again. Thanks for the support, Chris. It's a pleasure.
Sir.
Um, thanks, man, for I was gonna say make sure to listen to Movimiento Naranja too. We should be recording probably tomorrow. Chris, if you want to hop on one of those, let us know too, brother. You're
Yeah,
always
for sure.
welcome as well. But everybody, don't forget to hold it down and keep it forever orange.
Yes,
Peace.
sir.
Can you see my H? Oh,
Hey, hey, hey.
there you go.